Well, we've got a major development in a story arising from a CBC News investigation. The International Cricket Council has suspended Cricket Canada's membership. Now, back in April, the Fifth Estate revealed allegations of corruption, financial mismanagement, and match fixing by major figures at Cricket Canada. Co-host Stephen D'Souza and his team broke the story. He joins me now here in studio. There has been so much fallout since this investigation was revealed. What's the latest now?
So over the weekend, the International Cricket Council, which is a worldwide governing body for the sport, held its annual meeting, and unfortunately Cricket Canada was on the agenda, and they decided to suspend Cricket Canada's membership for what it called serious breaches of Canada's membership obligations. Now, these are deep-seated issues at Cricket Canada that go back to mismanagement, not only just the governance of Cricket Canada, but also financial mismanagement. And last month, the ICC actually froze Cricket Canada's funding. They provide about 60 to 70% of Cricket Canada's funding. They froze it for 6 months because of a number of issues. Everything from how oversight was structured to how Cricket Canada was filing its annual fiscal updates, saying that they weren't correct. And so they gave them 6 months, but it appears that they weren't ready to wait for 6 months, and they went ahead and took over Cricket Canada and its finances. The good news is for players is that the national teams, the men's and women's national teams, can still operate under this arrangement, which is good because Canada's men's team does play a qualifier for the World Cup next week just north of Toronto. But the ICC has given Cricket Canada a series of conditions, or will be giving them a series of conditions for reinstatement. We don't have a timeline yet on when that's going to take place, though.
Okay, so we mentioned off the top that this was an investigation that initially people learned of back in April. Let's talk about how this all started.
So we did an investigation, released a documentary back in April, which looked at allegations of corruption, of mismanagement at Cricket Canada, but we also had some serious allegations about allegations of match fixing involving senior figures at Cricket Canada, even the men's national team captain, Dilpreet Bajwa, back during the World Cup in February in India. He's being investigated by the ICC's anti-corruption unit for a moment that happened in one of Canada's matches against New Zealand. And so that's just one of, we believe, 2 investigations by the anti-corruption unit into allegations of match fixing involving Cricket Canada's senior officials. Everyone involved has either not responded to us or denied the allegations, but we also had allegations of organized crime influencing Cricket Canada and those allegations of match fixing, including 2 local players who allegedly threatened a national team player, claiming that they were members of organized crime. All of these players have ties to the man who became the new president of Cricket Canada, Arvinder Khosa. He's denied any allegations related to organized crime, saying it's just political propaganda against him. But Arthi, last month, Cricket Canada did elect a new board. Arvinder Khosa is still the president of Cricket Canada. They were supposed to be given some time to try to clean things up, to try to fix things, but it appears that the ICC wasn't happy with the progress. We know Sport Canada, the Canadian sports ministry, had already frozen Cricket Canada's funding, and they weren't happy with what Cricket Canada is doing. They felt that Cricket Canada hasn't done anything to meet their obligations for funding. And so a lot of issues here that have been deep-seated, and now, unfortunately, it seems the ICC has felt that Cricket Canada is just not doing enough, and they need to run it in their stead.
And a reminder for our viewers, too, of course, you can watch that full investigation online. You can read all about it online as well. Head to CBCNews.ca. Thank you for this, Steve. That is co-host of The Fifth Estate, Stephen D'Souza.